our goal is to attach our handle to the cup. This cup is very low res. I have created a bit of a taper on the bottom, and I've done the rounding on the top, and I've sort of tapered it off here, and that's for later when we smooth it. It'll smooth a little bit cleaner. But in order to attach this to that, we have to go through pretty much the same process as we did with those two cylinders, where we snap verts over, combined, merged the verts, and they were done. Problem is, when I zoom in here to my top where I want to attach this, and I turn on my show edges, my wireframe on shaded, I've got nothing to attach those verts to. So we have to create verts, which means we have to add resolution to our cylinder. To do that, we're going to use the same tool we had yesterday, insert edge loop, to start with. The other tool we're going to use is this one. This tool I use a lot when I'm polygon modeling. Tools to cut, slice, and insert edges on polygons. That tool is located, where is it located? There it is, multi-cut. So if you want to go ahead and add your multi-cut tool to your shelf, it's a good idea. You're going to use it quite a bit here. So I'm going to give you your computers back. I want you to add the multi-cut tool, again, which looks like this, to your shelf. I also want you to create two new layers, one with the handle. So I'm going to grab my handle and click this button, layer 1, name it handle, save, grab my cup, click this button again, which is create a new layer and assign selected object. Layer 1, and call this, I'm just going to call it cylinder, because it's going to be easier for us to get things out of the way when we need to get things out of the way. So as you can see, once again, I can hide that very easily. So get the button, create two new layers. Now this is going to be totally up to you. I said earlier that we have to create resolution on our cup, unless you already have it there. But I warn you, don't start selecting edges and move them, or excuse me, verts and move them around, because it's going to change the topology of your cup. What does that mean? Well, let's say I grab a vert here. As soon as I move it, I lose that perfect cylinder, and if I get out of that and get out of wireframe, and I move around, I can see, well, that's not right. Something's up right there. That's wrong. We want to try to be as perfect as possible. So you're better off just adding more resolution right at the point of where those handle verts exist. What do I mean by that? Well, I'm going to go to my side, my right view, where my handle is. If you have your cup on the other side, you're going to want to go to the other side. And I'm going to grab my cylinder, and I know that I have 5 verts. Let's go back to perspective just to make sure we're on that page. I'm going to hide my cylinder. So I need 5 verts pretty much right where these exist, but on the cylinder side. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So again, I'm going to go to the right side. I'm going to grab my cylinder, and I'm going to add or insert edge loop. I can click and drag. If I'm holding down the left mouse button, I can move that up and down. As soon as I release the mouse button, it's going to lock it in. So I'm going to put one here, because I have a vert here and here that I need to attach to the cup. I'm going to put one here, because I have one here and here. Now I'm going to go to X-ray mode, and I know that my vert right here at the base of this pentagon is there, and I'm going to go down to there. Okay, so I've just created horizontal resolution to coincide with where I'm going to be snapping. So I'm going to put one here, the top of that pentagon here, because there's 2 there, boom and boom, and one down here at the bottom where we have a straight line. There and there. Now if I go back to perspective to take a look and get out of X-ray, I'll see that I have the start of geometry. But I have nothing vertical. Those were created to allow me to create vertical edges where these points are, right? Because I've done that, I haven't added any verts. except for where they cross the already existing vertical edges. But now I need to create more vertical edges so I can create verts right across from where these exist. So again, I'm going to go to my right side. And this is going to be a little different for everybody unless you're actually using this cup that I've given you. I'm going to insert edge loop again. I'm going to go here. Actually, you know what? I lied. I'm not going to insert edge loop. Take that back. Scratch that. This is where I'm going to use my cut tool. Now we're going to do something that's a little bit unorthodox. I've mentioned a couple times before that when we model, we want to try to model in quads as much as possible. We're going to use this tool. We are going to create a few triangles, a few three-sided polygons rather than four-sided polygons, because four-sided polygons in this situation would mean I'd got to go all the way over the cup, back down to the middle to keep it 4. So what I have to do is visualize, okay, I want to create a vert here. How do I get there? Well, with this tool, you want to always start at where an existing vert lives. So I can click on an edge, either this one or this one, bump it up, and it will lock. It won't go any further. I can't move it past that. I can't move it left or right. It only goes up and down on that edge. So as soon as I go up there and it locks in, I let go of the mouse button. Then I'm going to go to the edge where I want that vert, and I'm going to click and drag it over. I let go. I still have the tool. I haven't hit any other buttons. Now I'm going to go down to this one, where that one exists. Boom. And then because I know that I've already have a vert right down the middle of this, and if I go to X-ray, you'll see there's already a vert right here because I have a vertical edge and a horizontal edge. I'm going to finish this cut again at where a vert already exists. Drag all the way there. It snaps there. I can't go any further. I can't go that way. I can't go that way. There's a vert there and a vert there, and I let go. And then I hit hotkey Y. I'm not asking why. I'm telling you, hotkey Y. Y will lock in what I just did and allow me to retain the same tool. So you can see I still have this tool highlighted. If you hit Y, it's like hitting enter and keeping the same tool. It's going back to previously used tool. That's what Y is. So now I'm going to do it again on this side. And it's symmetrical, so it's basically the same thing, but on the other side, I'm hit Y again. Now I'm going to move down to the bottom portion. And now I've got to start all the way at the bottom. And I'm going to start at the bottom outside here. Go up to where that one exists. Go up to where that vert exists. And then I'm going to again finish off right in the middle. Hit Y. Do the same thing on the opposite side. There. Again, I'm clicking and holding left mouse as I drag, because it'll allow me to move that entry. Click, drag. And now I'm going to hit enter because I don't need that tool again. Now you can see if I take X-ray off, you can see I've got a pentagon, sort of, and I'll tell you how to clean that up, but I'm going to give you computers back. I've got a pentagon that I'll be able to snap those verts to there. I've got one down here, all by using the cut tool. So, as we said, we created the verts directly across from the handle, from the end of the handle, so we can now snap our verts across there. But before we do that, we're going to clean up what we've created here on the cylinder. So I'm going to hide my handle, and I'm going to very simply delete these faces that create that pentagon shape right here. So I hit F11. I'm going to hold down Shift and click on those faces. Be careful with this. If I hold down Shift and I drag select all of them like that, look at my numbers. Oh, it actually worked. That might happen. Okay, so if I do that, keep an eye on your numbers. This is why we pulled up this HUD display here. So it says I have 10 faces when I know I need to have 5, which is why if you just click once quickly on them and hold down shift to add, you'll only select 4, which is what we want. Does that make sense? Drag select, it's going to select through your object. Click select, it will only select whatever you're clicking on that side of the object. And then I'm going to hit backspace to create a hole. Same thing down here. Shift, 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 backspace. So now we have 2 holes. The other thing I'm going to do is, because right here we actually have, even though it looks like we have 5 sides, we actually have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Because this one up here is split based upon the way I use the multi-cut tool. And I want to get rid of that, otherwise you're going to end up with a vert that's sort of floating there. So to do that, just like we deleted, I showed you how to delete other edges, I hit F10. So I'm in edge selection mode. I select it and I hit backspace. Remember, deleting edges does not mean verts are going to be deleted as well. So now I'm going to go to F9 and you'll see that I have what is called a floating vert. A floating vert is a vert that's only attached by 2 edges, but floating verts can be deleted. So now I'm going to delete that. It did straighten out my topology a little bit because that one was sort of sticking out in this direction, but we're okay with that at this point. Everything else is fine. We have the same problem down here. So F10, select that edge, backspace, F9, grab that vert, make sure you only have 1. Anytime you drag select, keep an eye on those numbers. Now I hit F8 to get back out. So now we're ready to attach that handle. You guys should know how to do this already. I don't really need to explain it. I'm going to hit F9, grab my vert, hit W and hold down V for snap to vert. V, V, V. And you can see how it wants to snap to other verts that are all the way across my cylinder. Just make sure you don't go through your cylinder. So look up above. If you see something going all the way through, that means you snapped those verts somewhere else. V, 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 and V. And now we're ready to combine and merge. But I'm going to leave it here right now until you get caught up with this. Okay, just a reminder, you have to get really comfortable with your camera movements. Camera movements are essential to getting where you want to be in order to see what you're working on. Holding down Alt, left clicking allows you to rotate, only in perspective view. Doesn't work in orthographics. Hopefully you figured that out. Middle mouse clicking for pan. I see people that aren't utilizing this enough. This little roll bar sort of spoils us. You can click on that button as well. That gets you to pan. And then right mouse click allows you to zoom smoothly. The other keys are selecting an object and hitting F to frame it. That will recenter our camera's rotation. If I go to component mode and drag select components and hit F, I can zoom in very quickly to the area I want to work in. And I can move around and pan back out. I can hit F again. Doesn't matter. But you need to get comfortable with that. So moving on and this is the last part. This is all I'm going to teach you, and then it's up to you to figure this out, to finish this. Select both of them. I'm going to delete my history. Then I'm going to go to Mesh, Combine. We've done this before. And then, remember, combining things doesn't necessarily merge verts. So if I hit F9 and I go to my verts and I drag select there, look at my number. There's 2 there. Totally coplanar. Because even if I have them merged, I can still pull them apart, which is not good. So we have to merge them. So I'm going to drag select. It doesn't matter if you drag select too many. Remember, the only verts that will delete are verts that are floating. And again, a floating vert is a vert only connected by 2 edges. If there's more than 2 edges, you will not be able to merge them. They won't go anywhere. And they won't be deleted. So we're going to merge these, again, using a very, very, very low number under Edit Mesh, Merge Options, 0.005. And watch my number. Right now I have 94 selected. How many should I have when I hit my merge button? How many verts right now are coplanar? Or share the exact same position? Remember, we snapped. I should have 84, thank you, right? Because I have 10 and 10. Right? I've got too many. They should merge. If I hit merge and I see 84, awesome. Perfect. They've been merged. Now if I go just click on one and think there might be two, there's not. It's the same surface. If I drag select those, you would think it should be one, right? So what just happened? I accidentally selected one way over here. There should be one there. And now the final part of this is sort of the fun part. We're going to use smoothing to round this out. So I'm going to get out of show wireframe on shaded. And you can see I've got a bunch of hard edges. There are things called hard edges and soft edges. The reason you see these edges here, they look hard on my handle, because they are. When I smooth it, that'll go away. We'll talk more about hard edges and smooth edges later. Don't worry too much about it. But I can either click on my whole mesh here. I'm going to delete my history again. And go to Mesh, Smooth, Options. This is the only thing I ever really pay attention to in smoothing is division levels. Right now it's only 1, so it's going to subdivide it by 1 and smooth it. So watch what happens. Apply. Nice and smooth, nice and smooth. Down here you see a little bit of a triangle there. See how that changed? It's not a big deal. But also take note that when I did that, I'm going to Z out of that. I'm going to undo it. Let's add those wireframes back onto it. Watch what happens when I smooth it. Look at all that extra geometry that's created that's unnecessary. Remember, I've got pretty straight lines on the outside of this cylinder. Now I've got a bunch of verts that aren't defining any curvature. They're there. It's sort of a waste. So what you might think about, and I'm going to leave this up to you, again, up to your own cup, you can actually smooth at the face level. So if I grab a face and go mesh smooth, look what happened. It subdivided it into 4. Which means I can drag select only the faces that I want more round. So if I go to my side view again and go up, I want my surface of my cup to be round. I also want the bottom surface to be round, so I'm going to hold down Control Shift. I'm going to select all of that. I also want my cup handle areas to be round, so I'm going to drag select that whole area. Problem is, as I said, when you drag select, it selects the other side of things. I don't want all that stuff on the interior. I want to leave that alone. If you look in wireframe, you'll see a bunch of stuff. All the interior faces have been selected. So if I hold down Control, sort of go around and drag select, making sure that I'm not deselecting this area. Or I can go to 4 and hold down Control and deselect those areas. I've got a couple down here, these up here, until I get, if I just click and deselect, holding down Control, they'll go away. Now I've got the areas I really want smooth, and these are going to be left alone, essentially, which will cut down on my geometry use, cut down on my numbers of vertexes, my vert count, which if we're creating a video game over a large scene with a bunch of things in them containing faces and verts, can help keep the memory down. It'll help with gameplay. It'll keep it from jumping or dropping frames. So now I go mesh, smooth, and you'll see that it's smooth. Don't do that. Get out of here. Take that off. That's pretty good. Now if we want to do high-res modeling, this is good for low-res modeling. In fact, it's pretty high-res for low-res modeling. If I Z out of that, undo it, I can smooth again if I wanted to get it really smooth. But you can see where we start getting issues when we do it that way. So I don't even like that. So keep an eye on your topology. Make sure you don't have a bunch of wrinkles. Smoothing to this level is fine for submission. I just want to know that you know how to do it. But all those things you should keep in mind.